Today on Public Eye News, a man pleads guilty to stealing millions from a major Detroit nonprofit organization. And later, carrots from a California grower are being pulled off shelves after infecting dozens with E. coli. Stay tuned to learn more.
Our very own Andy Jordan has an eye on the weather around the UP. And later, Austin Graham has a weekend sports breakdown you definitely don't want to miss. I'm Beck Brearley.
And I'm Reed Hall, and this is Public Eye News. William Smith, the man accused of stealing $44 million from a Detroit nonprofit, pleaded guilty on Friday to financial crimes. Smith, the chief financial officer for the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy, was arrested in June after investigators said he used money from the nonprofit to fund his travels, clothing, and jewelry. Smith also used the money in his side gigs in real estate, a nightclub, and amateur basketball. Smith has been charged with wire fraud and money laundering, in which he could face more than 15 years behind bars when he returns to court in March. As for the nonprofit, which is aimed at transforming miles of riverfront into recreation spaces, these projects will now be delayed in some portions due to the theft. And the Michigan Department of Transportation, MDOT, has been awarded a $32 million federal grant aimed to support the use of low-carbon transportation materials. The grant, funded under the Low Carbon Transportation Materials Grant Program, will support MDOT's efforts to establish guidelines and testing for low-carbon material. The funding will accelerate the use and offset costs of low-carbon materials for departments of transportation and contractors. MDOT's materials team will enhance material specifications and testing guidelines for construction, ensuring the carbon footprint is both recognized and reduced. IRA-funded projects in Michigan have resulted in over $26 billion in new investments and have supported more than 21,000 new jobs.
And Governor Gretchen Whitmer has announced a major investment in Michigan's housing market, with the addition of 78 new housing units across 5 redevelopment projects. Projects are being supported by the state's revitalization and placemaking program, which aims to breathe new life into urban areas while boosting the availability of affordable housing. Each of these projects will add much-needed housing, but will also help stimulate local economies by creating jobs and attracting investment. Mixed-use development projects in Sheboygan, Lowell, Petoskey, Spring Lake, and Zeeland will help address local housing shortages and promote economic growth. These land developments aim to create integrated spaces that combine residential, commercial, and recreational areas, fostering vibrant communities and boosting regional economies. And state police are arguing Michiganders to sign up for local emergency alerts to stay informed during critical situations. This month, the Michigan State Police Emergency Management and Homeland Security Division is launching a new public awareness campaign called Know Your Plan, Be Alert. The initiative encourages residents to stay informed, stay safe, and make sure they have a solid emergency plan in place. With this campaign, the state police are reminding Michiganders to be prepared and know what to do in case of an emergency. From now through February of 2025, a statewide billboard campaign is encouraging Michiganders to sign up for electronic emergency alerts from their local community. The campaign is funded through the State Homeland Security Grant Program and the Southeast Michigan Urban Area Security Initiative. And the U.S. Department of Defense is turning to students of the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. The reason? They're looking to phase out the toxic chemicals used to strip the paint off Navy ships and planes. Reporter Ken Kozarowski has more information.
Sounds like a lot of responsibility for undergrads, and it is. But UW-Eau Claire's chemistry department has a history of being up to the challenge.
UWEC is a forerunner in research to begin with. Undergraduate research was not a thing. UWEC was the first institution that published with undergraduate researchers that doesn't have a graduate program.
Deidre Gerlach works with students pursuing the university's Chemistry with Business Emphasis degree. UWEC is one of just a handful of universities that offer it nationwide, and it's developed an excellent reputation.
The network that is around UWEC, right? It's not just about brains, it's about people, it's about communication.
That network helped the chemistry department secure its first ever subcontract with the DoD to replace that toxic paint chemical. Chemistry seniors Connor Koepp and Jackie Bradley are working on this research effort. They say it's been a completely unique experience.
This is more detail-oriented in the matter of trying to get the results in the most precise, accurate way possible. It's cool that it's more than just filling out a worksheet to complete some homework.
Getting to do this is getting to do something that you don't know what the outcome is, which makes it just a little bit more exciting and unconventional because you're figuring things out.
As they reach milestones, they get to present their findings to actual professionals at companies who contract with the DoD.
Going from boots on the ground in the lab, collecting that data, and then using that data to write a report that professionals use for months or years on this project is very interesting.
It gives them a chance to make a real difference and prove that they're valuable.
These networking opportunities, they're getting job offers before they're even graduated.
Bradley says at times she has to battle a sense of imposter syndrome, but this project has taught her that she's more than ready to chase a career in her dream field.
It's hard when you're still a student to go, I'm a scientist, and that's something that I've gotten out of college in general is I'm a scientist, and it's really nice to be able to say that.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your weather and national news after this break. Stay tuned.
It shows us something between what you see and what you don't see.
This is the story of the most curious man in history.
The influence of Leonardo's vision was enormous.
He's doing things no one had ever done before. And that is simply astounding.
Welcome back. I'm Andy Jordan, and I'll be taking you through our Public Eye weather report. Starting off with our roof cam here, a few clouds rolling in, but mostly blue in the sky, a little bit of activity on campus as well. And moving to the map of the UP. In Houghton, it is 49 degrees and partly cloudy, and actually pretty heavy cloud coverage across the UP. In Ironwood, it is also 49 degrees. In Iron Mountain, 47. In Menominee, it is 50 degrees. Moving to the east side of the map here. In Escanaba, it is 48 degrees. In Manistee, 50 degrees. In Sault Ste. Marie, 47 and partly cloudy. And back here in Marquette, it is 50 degrees and sunny. And taking a look at our current conditions, we have winds coming out of the south-southeast at 8 miles per hour with our barometric pressure at 29.90 inches and steady. And looking to tonight, cloudy skies, a low of 45 degrees, winds coming out of the southeast at 12 miles per hour, and our moon phase is a waning gibbous, excuse me. And looking to tomorrow, rainy skies, a high of 52, a low of 45, winds still at the southeast but picking up to 20 miles per hour. And looking to the rest of the week, Wednesday, a high of 49, a low of 38 with cloudy conditions. Thursday, a high of 43, low of 39 with some rain, which continues on into Friday with a high of 41 and a low of 34. That is all I have for your weather. Now back to the news desk.
Thank you, Andy, for that weather update. Definitely a beautiful day out there. Get outside if you can before that sun goes down. Now taking a look at our national news, where a new E. coli outbreak has infected 39 people and killed one after individuals reported eating bagged organic carrots. The organic carrots were sold by Grimway Farms, based in California, and were sold nationally in stores like Trader Joe's and Wegmans. Most of the reported illness have come from New York, Minnesota, and Washington, as well as cases in California and Oregon. The carrots have been recalled by the Grimway Farms and are no longer in stores, while the CDC is warning consumers to throw away any carrots that fit the right description. The recalled organic carrots have Best By dates ranging from September 11th through November 12th. According to the CDC, symptoms of E. coli infection occur 3 or 4 days after ingesting the bacteria and include severe stomach cramps, diarrhea, and vomiting. People with severe symptoms should seek medical attention immediately. And Spirit Airlines has filed for bankruptcy protection today and will attempt to reboot as they continue to struggle from the pandemic-caused swoon in travel, stiffer competition, and a failed attempt to sell the airline to JetBlue. The airline company has filed for a Chapter 11 bankruptcy petition after losing more than $2.5 billion since the start of 2020. Spirit also faces looming debt payments totaling over $1 billion in 2025 and 26. The airline said it expects to continue running operations as normal and will continue to pay its employees and vendors. Spirit has received commitments for a $350 million equity investment from existing bondholders, along with a $300 million loan, and will convert $795 million of their debt into stock in order to make it through the restructuring process. And in a significant change to U.S. policy, President Biden is lifting restriction on Ukraine's use of American-provided long-range missiles. CBS News reporter Naomi Ruckham has more on how this could impact the future of this conflict.
Over the weekend, more sirens and destruction in Ukraine. after Russia unleashed a new wave of airstrikes, including more than 100 missiles and dozens of drones. As Russia and Ukraine approach nearly 3 years of war, President Biden has given the okay to allow Ukraine to use U.S.-provided long-range missiles to hit targets deep within Russia. The weapons, known as the Army Tactical Missile System, can travel about 190 miles, which could help stop Russian forces from attacking Ukrainian cities.
I think it's a signal to the Russians that the United States is not going to pull out, that we are going to continue to support Ukraine.
The escalation comes as new leadership is on the cusp of assuming the Oval Office. President-elect Donald Trump has repeatedly said he can end the fighting.
I believe I will be able to make a deal between President Putin and President Zelensky quite quickly.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he is certain the war will end sooner under Trump's watch.
The conventional wisdom is that Trump wants a deal and is willing to sacrifice the Ukrainians to get it.
Still, the hope is to end the war through diplomacy rather than more violence. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Austin Graham will have your sports update after this break. Stay tuned.
At 7 p.m. when doors open at the Moody, people start filing in.
There's just something about walking up those stairs and opening those big, heavy doors.
Get to be up close and personal to some of the biggest artists in a very intimate, historic setting.
It's so iconic, the backdrop.
That excitement in the crowd starts happening. Here I am 15 feet from an artist that I really admire.
I swear, he looked right at me.
My dad's like super into it, which means I'm getting super into it.
Wonderful music and the coolest vibe around.
I'm Austin Graham, and this is your Public Eye Sports Report. Starting off on the pitch, the NMU women's soccer team are your 2024 GLIAC Tournament champions. The Wildcats claimed their second straight GLIAC championship in a 3-0 clean sheet victory over Saginaw Valley State. This marks the first time in program history that women's soccer has won back-to-back tournament titles. Brooke Pietla, Justina L'Esperance, Molly Pistorius, and Hannah Kestamo were named to the GLIAC All-Tournament team. The Wildcats will now head to the NCAA tournament. Their opponents will be revealed tonight on the NCAA Division II Tournament Selection Show, which will be streamed on ncaa.com at 7. Bouncing things over to basketball, the NMU men's team stunned Illinois Springfield 85-83. The Cats trailed for a majority of this game, down 83-82 in the game's closing moments. Illinois Springfield missed 2 free throw attempts, prompting Dylan Kuehl to snag the rebound and swing it to Gerald Gittens Jr., who then dropped it back to Julian Smith. As the final horn sounded, Smith stepped up to hit the three-point dagger to send NMU past UIS. The Wildcats improved to 3-0 on the year as they head to Duluth, Minnesota this weekend for a pair of games with Minnesota State Moorhead and Minnesota Duluth. And finally, ending things on the ice, the NMU men's hockey team earned its first CCHA points of the season with a shootout victory over Minnesota State. While the NCAA will officially recognize this game as a 1-1 tie, the Wildcats earned 2 CCHA points with their shootout dub over the number 16 ranked Minnesota State Mavericks. Will Diamond scored the lone goal for the Cats in regulation, while Ryan Ouellette stood on his head to make 3 saves in the shootout alongside 26 saves in regulation and overtime. Jacob Altricher netted the only goal in the shootout to give his squad the extra points. The Wildcats will travel to South Dakota this weekend to take on CCHA foe Augustana. That's all I have for sports. Sending it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Austin, for that sports update. And that's all the time we have today on Public Eye News. I'm Reed Hall.
And I'm Beck Burley.
We'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.